Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Wing Commander Michael Garside. We warmly welcome the delegation representing the American Chamber of Commerce Global Leadership Academy, who are attending this evening's ceremony. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Please be seated if you can do so. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Norman Frank Strehlau. Norman Strehlau was born on the 23rd of February 1914 in Maryborough, Queensland, the eldest son of Frank and Grace Strehlau. His father was a timber getter and they lived in Thanumba. Norman grew up in a large family alongside 5 sisters and 4 brothers. The family met with tragedy early on when Norman's little sister Alice died aged just 2 after she accidentally scalded herself. Norman was a good rifleman and participated often in local events in which he won several trophies. He worked as a station hand and labourer in the years before his enlistment. Strehlau enlisted in the 2nd Australian Imperial Force on the 25th of May 1940. He was taken on strength with the 2nd 15th Battalion and spent a few months training in Redbank in Queensland, then Darwin. He embarked with his unit on the 21st of December aboard the Queen Mary, arriving in Egypt the following February. The battalion undertook desert training in Palestine and soon travelled to the front line in Libya. It took part in the withdrawal to Tobruk and later moved to Gaza. Strehlau was hospitalised with jaundice in September 1941 and did not rejoin his unit for almost 2 months. He was popular amongst the men who called him Ganga. In 1942, the 2nd 15th Battalion undertook garrison duties in Lebanon and Syria, and in September was involved in the battles at El Alamein, including the fierce fighting south of Tel El Isa, where it sustained heavy casualties. On the 1st of September, Private Strehlau was attacking a machine gun post when he was killed in action. He was 28 years old. Norman was described by his mates as a good, clean-living, courageous soldier. His commander wrote to his parents about the events of his death, saying, "Gunner Strehlau behaved with the greatest courage and devotion to duty. We think of your son as one of those who, by their bravery and the sacrifice of their lives, have made a supreme contribution to winning the war and have helped to place the reputation of the Australian fighting man very high indeed." Strehlau was buried at the El Alamein War Cemetery under the inscription, "His duty nobly done." He was dearly missed by his family and friends, who for years after his death placed in memoriam notices in the newspapers. One, inserted by his parents and siblings, read, "In our home there's a beautiful picture. To us it is dearer than gold. It's a picture of you, dear Norman, whose memory will never grow old. Just when his life was brightest, just when his hopes were best, his country's call was he answered, one of Australia's gallant sons. We who loved him will never forget." Private Norman Frank Strehlau's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed by the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Norman Frank Strehlau, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We particularly appreciate your visit despite the challenges posed by COVID and wish you all a very pleasant evening.